Hello and welcome back to BJG Reptiles. This is Brandon and I'm going to be showing you my leopard gecko routine. So I'm going to be feeding both my leopard geckos and I'll also be trying to weigh some of them. So the first one we're doing is Blue, who is in a temporary setup at the minute. You can see he's trying to climb just here. I'm going to flit out, look. Oh, he's been good. Okay, so the first things first is, this is his little water bowl. He's obviously a little bit, for context, this is like a bottle lid. That's how big he is. He's really, really small. So the first thing we do is fill the water up. I'll do that now. This has already been prior cleaned. As you saw, he was already set up, so that's no worries. And then we place that back in there. I'll move this over here. Now, the second thing we want to do is obviously get his mealworms. So I suggest feeding the mealworms. I've got a tub of these. Now, usually people would recommend putting some D3 calcium in like a tub and shaking them up. However, this little tub here, as you can see inside, has already got plenty of D3 calcium on it. So it should be okay for this feed. Usually I've got a small little tub that I got some wax worms for a treat in. I've taped up the holes and there's calcium in there. So I put the mealworms in there and shake them up. Because there's plenty of calcium, I won't do that. That's a mealworm, by the way, for anyone wondering. Little escape artists is what they are. They get out of these bottles all the time, so I definitely recommend having a tub for them. I'm going to put about 6 or 7 in here with him. Like I said, he is only a baby, so I don't expect him to eat a full leopard gecko size meal. You can see him, he's already hunting for him though. How cool's that? How about the light? Go on, Blue. Oh yeah, I forgot to name him as well. So this is Blue. So this is my Eclipse leopard gecko. So that's the mealworms fed to this guy. So now the Eclipse is basically making him the colour that he is. I'm not very familiar with leopard gecko morphs, but he is definitely beautiful. Oh, you've just seen him try and bite one. I don't know why he's hunting from the top of his rock. He doesn't usually do this. He's been a bit of a moron, and this is what I mean by their escape artists. Look, I do need a mealworm dish for him when he goes into a bigger viv, but obviously right now he's in a very small one, so it doesn't really matter. So next, I'm going to feed him some locusts. There's some medium locusts in here. I am running a little bit low, so we might have to have a couple of the small, large ones, but that's fine. Now these you want to lightly dust in some D3 calcium like this, so you're not going to see me do this, but I'm going to dust them in there, and then I'm going to attempt to see if he'll eat one off the tongs. Now sometimes he can be a little bit finicky because he is the youngest leopard gecko I've got. I've had him since mid last month, so mid-November. So he's not, you know, always happy to eat from the tongs. I'm sure he will for me this time. You gonna eat from the tongs? No, he doesn't want to. Okay, that's fine. So that's the medium one. Let's see if there's any more in here. It looks like there's a couple more in here, so we'll get those out. These are probably going to escape when I do this, so if you hear me scream, that's why. No, I'm kidding. I'm not scared of the locusts. The locusts are only little piddly things. This one's a little bit bigger, actually. So that's 2 in there. So the reason I'm putting the locusts in there is because he will just hunt them himself. He's never actually missed a locust. I've never gone in and found a dead one. He's always eaten them, and I know they've not escaped because this is a sealed vivarium, and they definitely cannot escape through the top. Okay, so I've put in 2 mediums, so now the mediums are done for. So we've got to move on to some of the smaller, large ones, which is what I usually feed my other leopard gecko, but that's fine. So you saw the size of the mediums. That's the size of a large, big boy. But you should be able to eat some of the small ones, like I said. Go on, one more. The problem with the large ones though is they're a little bit faster. Go on. Okay, so they're a little bit harder to grab. So this is his feeding routine. So I'm not actually going to weigh Blue this time. Now the reason I'm not doing that is because I did already weigh him last feeding, which is 2 days ago. So there's no point in weighing him. But I do need to weigh Pascal. Now Pascal is a locally bred leopard gecko. I'm not sure of the morph. We think he's some sort of super hypo, but we're not entirely sure. His mum definitely was, and we're not sure what his dad was because he came to us pregnant. Oh, right, okay, hold on. Let me just lift this up. But that's Blue. So now, as you can see in Blue's hide, in Blue's Viv, he's only in a small little fish tank, really. So he's got a mealworm tub there, a calcium one there. He's got a hide, which is the rock one here on the cool side. And this one here is coconut. Right now, it's not a humid hide because he doesn't need it. It's quite humid in here. But when he goes into a bigger Viv, the coconut will be the humid hide. I'll show you what that looks like when we get Pascal out. Now, let me just put him back. Okay, so now we're going to get the bigger boy out. So now he's actually in a bit of a bigger Viv, as you see. He's in like the next step up. So this one is like your beginner snake vivariums that you can pick up. I picked this one up from Blue Lizard in Dinnington. Oh dear. That's not good. A couple of escapee mealworms. They've kind of caught it. I will clean them out in a second. So his water's actually full, but I will... his water's, he's actually got some left, but I will top it up a little bit. I'll just pour some more water in there. And then next feeding, he will get the water entirely cleaned out. Now, I don't know if you can actually see him. His head's just poking out here. He's a friendly little guy. He's actually not too bad with being handled. Now, what I meant by a humid hide is this moss here. You just add water to this and put it in a hide. So let me move the water out of the way. You see that little coconut? That has, if I pull this out, some sphagnum moss in there. Now, the sphagnum moss in there is actually pretty dry right now because it is on the hot side. So that needs replacing next time too. So we do the same for Pascal, but we're going to weigh him first. So we're going to move the tongs and everything over here. And the water up here. So now I've got some small scales there, so we're gonna put him here. We'll do it this way. Oh, that was a horrible noise. I am sorry. So we'll turn it on. It's not gonna turn on for me. It's been a dick. So okay. So this is in grams. So if you watch him, he will literally just come out. Look, he's a pretty friendly guy, like I said. Oh, a little bit flighty, but he's not too bad. So he weighs 64 grams. Good lad. But yeah, that's Pascal. As you can see there, he's a lot more orange than Blue. He's also a lot more friendly. Blue is obviously a little baby. I am a big monkey man, so he wants nothing to do with me on the best of days. Now, like I said, we'll do the exact same with him that we usually do, so I'll get rid of these mealworms. Right. Pascal, move up. So now I need to put some D3 calcium on the bottom of this because it's a little bit low. And I can't be able to get the tub out for this video, so we're doing this. Right, cool. And then we're going to feed him about 15 mealworms. Now, obviously do your own research. I'm just going off of his size. For a young male, he's quite big, so 15 mealworms every 2 days, he just demolishes. That is 5. Oh no, that's 4. Oh, it's because one didn't quite jump off, look. 5, 6, 7, 8. No chance. Get in there. Alright, that's 10. And then that should be enough for him. He'll probably not hunt those. He's very much into his large locusts over anything. He really likes his locusts, whereas Blue, as you saw, prefers the mealworms. Now, let me just check Pascal is in frame. You see him here? Come on, nail it. You see that? Now he's very well trained. He loves me. Good lad. Right. Now let's see if there's any more in this locust tub. I'm not sure if there is. Oh, there is. There's a two in there. So I have to open the next tub. And I'll have to go shopping for some more locusts because they are the last ones. That's fine. That's the problem with feeding geckos and lizards the like, because they run out of live food very often. Now, mealworms last forever, but locusts are a bit finicky to keep alive. I've known people put all sorts in with them. I've tried pretty much everything, and they still somehow die. So look at the size of that. And he'll just absolutely demolish these. Look at that. Absolutely demolishes. Let's get the last one. Cheers. There. Dust it with some D3. And we'll just let that one hop around in there. It'll go into his hide. And then we shall bin the empty box. Or, well, I'll store it for later. And I shall bin it later. And we'll open a fresh box of locusts. Now look at the size of them bastards. There's a lot of these. These are like, I've left this on the like extra larges, so this will be a nice treat for him. See if he wolfs one of these down for us. Oh, this one's trying to jump away. No, thank you. Come on. You know you want to. You know you want it. Look at that. Absolutely nails it every time. I love him. But yeah, that's pretty much the daily routine, or the every other day routine. So something that is slightly different is Pascal actually has a calcium dish, so he's running a little bit low, so he's topping up. Now, the reason I've got that is because sometimes he'll actually come and just eat the calcium. Another thing I should mention is these are only babies. He's not even 6 months old. So he is only a little juvenile. You know, he's pretty well trained. You can see there's a little bit of a poop build up at the back because he needs cleaning in on the next feed. But yeah, he's not got UVB at the minute. Now, the reason he hasn't got UVB is simply because this Viv, I thought I could put a UVB light on the top, but I can't. So I'm going to have to upgrade them into 2-foot Vivs each. So when I upgrade him, Blue will be moving into here, and that other one will be unused. And he will move into a 2-foot. And then Blue will also move into a 2-foot. Now, what I might do when I move houses, because I'm in the process of that, is transfer them into 3-foot Vivs. So before I go, though, I'm going to have a look at... oh, of course he disappears. Anubis was out. There was a ball python out. But yeah, that's it for this video. If you have enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. If you haven't, comment why. I can improve for next time. But yeah, that's it for this video. That's how I look after my leopard geckos every other day. I clean them once every week because they're only on a tissue substrate. And that's it. Yeah, I shall see you later. Goodbye.